All right, YouTube, here's what we're going to do today. Two things. Checking out a new knife, also checking out a different camera setup. So I've got this little thing that mounts to the desk that holds my iPhone 11 Pro. Let's see if we can get some better video that way than the GoPro 5 Hero Black, which was probably a good camera back in the day, but it's a little long in the tooth now. So I went and got another Heretic. This is the Manticore E with the recurve blade. So they got the Manticore X, which is kind of big. And they got the Manticore S, which is kind of too small. So everyone said, hey, why not come out with something in the middle? So that's what they did. So it comes in a box, comes with a card, basic. And got it from eKnives, which I like because they always send like a small Snickers bar or something in the package with it, which is kind of cool. So, comes in a nice little carry pouch, and here is the knife. So the reason I got this was because I recently got an Ultratech. I like the Ultratech size for the most part. My last video, I don't like this damn button. Now, I've had someone say, yeah, they make the best buttons in the business. Yes and no. They make the prettiest. I mean, it's beautifully machined. It's amazing. It's really nice, very beautiful. You can see the detail there. I can always tell I'm gonna like this camera better than the GoPro. But it is a freaking cheese grater. It chews the shit out of your thumbs, and it's not any smoother. The action is nice. I mean, it's a Microtech. It's top notch, but it's not any nicer than the Hogues or the Guardian Tacticals. In fact, I would say the Guardian Tacticals are nicer. But anyway, I wanted a knife in that size, and I've already had a Heretic before. I got the Cleric that was on sale for $199 at Blade HQ with the Tonto blade, green handle. And great blade. I like the button being here. You open it and your hand's kind of already in position. I like the swell there. It does kind of fit and grip your hand a little bit. That's a nice stout blade. I think it's S35 VN. No, it's 154 CM. So anyway, still good blade steel. So been very impressed. So for those of you who don't know, Heretic is, well, Microtech is Anthony Marfione. Senior, and so Heretic is his son, Anthony Marfione Jr. So similar designs, but he's got his own flair and does his own thing and has some really neat stuff coming out. So anyway, I've been very happy with this one I had already. And so I've got the Microtech, which beautiful blade, good size, although it is feel like a little bit like gripping a pencil. So while it's the perfect size, I've had the UTX 85, too small for my hands. Just, it wasn't comfortable. I'd have to alter my grip and kind of pinch it with my fingers to open it and then readjust my grip to use it. And so here, you know, my hand's kind of in position. I can cut and I'm not really shifting my grip. So this is like the optimal size lengthwise, but I find them a little short this way. So it's kind of, if you got big hands, like trying to grip a pencil. I have a feeling if I was trying to do any serious cutting, this thing would really wiggle around and my hand would cramp from trying to grip something that small. But for an EDC pocket knife, perfect. Nothing wrong with a Microtech. So, you know, I've got the Heretic here, the Cleric, which is a big knife. I should say not real big. Not as big as like the Combat Trudon size, this is the Vespa version. Love this knife. Done some reviews on these. These things are excellent. But that's a big ass knife. This is marginally smaller, but not a whole lot. And then you've got the Microtech, which is really the EDC friendly, at least for my size. Some people prefer the 85 series. So I wanted to get the Manticore E. Like this, it's got an anodized finish, but it almost has texture. It's got almost like this rubbery, kind of a porous feel to it. So it gives you a little bit of grip. It doesn't feel like it's as slippery, like it's going to fall out of your hand. Again, it's not that it's better. It's different. The Microtech is very, very smooth. So this has a little more contours. One thing I like already, just playing with this, I like the button. It's G10. So it's machined nicely, although it doesn't look as pretty as that. Credit where credit's due. But it's got grip. It's G10. The grip doesn't change when it gets wet, whereas like metal a lot of times, and maybe that's why this thing is so abrasive, is that no matter what, you can have, you know, oil on your finger and it'll still grip. It's still gonna be painful too. The G10 here is grippy, but it's not chewing up my thumb. That's actually very comfortable. Spring deployment, pressure, it's about the same. Actually, it might be a tight bit more stiff, but that could be it just needing to wear in because I literally have only had this for an hour. So size-wise, it is just a scooch smaller. Now, if I were to match up the bottom of this to the bottom of that without including the whatchamacallit, the glass breaker, these are nearly identical. What I like about it already better is I do like the blade shape a little better. I don't know, just something about that recurve looks a little nicer to me. It's a nice stonewash finish. Just something about the shape. But also see how they're about the same thickness this way, but the width. And also this has some contours. It's not flat like this is. There's a ridge in the middle. It's kind of hard maybe to see in the black. Maybe at that angle you can. And so this, it's a good EDC knife. This just seems to fit my hand a little bit better from front to back. I don't feel like I'm having to pinch my hand to get a good purchase on it. The blade action very fast, snappy, probably. Seems to be about the same. The weight, actually a little bit lighter than the Microtech. Not much. If I had the scale up here, it might only be off by like, I don't know, half an ounce. It's feelable. It's not going to make a difference in your daily carry, so don't worry about that. Let me get some of these out of the way. Love that knife. I like that knife a lot too. But for EDC, it's got a nice deep pocket clip. One thing that I like a little better on the Heretic as well is that it has a glass breaker, but it sits, if you latch at the top of the clip here, this just seems to stick out a little bit more in your pocket. While it is really deep ride, you do see that kind of protruding. This might be marginally better. I think that because this is a different color than like, you know, jeans or dark pants, this might just blend in a little bit more, but they're going to sit, I guess maybe the difference is negligible in your pocket. It's got a nice depth this way, so if you've got thick jeans or sometimes like my cargo shorts, for some reason the seam on the top of the pocket is kind of thick, and so it hasn't been a problem on this knife, but on some other knives that don't have a depth this way, in that space there, it's kind of you have to like really push it on there. This I think will sit nice. Tension's really good. Slips in the pocket. This uses Torx bits as opposed to the more proprietary heads, but I've got like 3 Vespa tools that actually fit that just fine. So easy to take apart and disassemble. Very light. I really like that blade. That is, I don't have a good lighting where I'm at, but it looks like that might be S35VN or CPM 154. I'll have to look that up in the specs later. But hair popping sharp, really, really pointy. I would say at least as pointy as the Microtech. In fact, this is probably a bit more of a sharper, you know, that way, whereas this has got a little more belly on it. As far as slicing abilities, I mean, the blades are roughly about the same size. They're going to have the same type of belly on them. This might have a little more belly. This has a sharper belly, but it's more concentrated in a shorter piece, whereas here it's kind of that much instead of that much. So this might be a marginally better slicer, but again, we're nitpicking here. This is going to come down to personal tastes. Price, they're pretty much the same. This one's made by the father. This one's made by the son using his own design tastes. His own flair, but, you know, obviously a lot of the things he learned, you know, over here on this side of the house working for his dad. So very comparable products, very comparable, you know, both made in the US, good materials, good feel in the hand. You know, you can never go wrong with a Microtech, but these guys, Heretic, give these guys a consider, man. The prices are great, especially when you see them go on sale. That is a hell of a knife for $199. That's cheaper than you see like the UTX 85s and the UTX 70s, the little ones that are kind of like the cheaper ones. I saw this go on sale at Blade HQ, bought it in a heartbeat just because I knew it was an amazing knife and a good size. But these Heretics are great. It'd be a great addition to any collection. I really like that G10, man. And it isn't hurting my thumb. This other one, man, after a while, I have to stop because it's that top edge right there. They make it so intricate. My last video, maybe I don't know if you could see the details as much, but when you look at that, there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on in there. And those edges, man, they're just sharp as hell. What I like about the G10, and I like this like with when you have like a G10 knife, or if you have G10 handles, like grip panels on like a 1911 pistol, sometimes they're machined, they're sharp and abrasive, which is what you want. But when it rubs on your side when you're walking around, if you got little love handles like I do, you know, it's like having a cheese grater. So what's nice about G10 is that if you wanted to sand this a little bit or reshape it a little bit, you can. You're not going to grind into the finish and ruin it and make it look all scuffed up to where some is shiny and some's not, where you can realize, okay, someone jacked that up, which I've done before. I don't want to do again. With G10, you can rub it and sand it and file it if you want, and then just wipe it down with a cloth, and it looks just like that. You'll change the shape and the texture, but it doesn't look like you've, you know, been messing with it. So anyway, nice lanyard hole, glass breaker, good pocket clip, super damn light. I didn't think it was going to be lighter than the Microtech, but it actually is. Blade wobble, let's compare. Let's get this out of the way, and then we'll wrap this up. Let's see. You can probably hear that. No, that's not bad. I mean, that's what Microtechs are. They're fairly tight lockup. Unless you've got that, I forget who the designer is. It sells it like $1,500 deadlock system. It's almost impossible to get an out the front automatic that does not have that bit of wiggle and blade play. If it was so tight that there was none of that, then those parts would be dragging and scraping, and it would slow the action down, and you need a stiffer spring to overcome that friction. It would also scratch up the blade going in and out. So they have to, by nature, be a little loose. Don't think that that means that that is not a sturdy blade. I could stab this as hard as I want into the tabletop, and not that I would because that's my table, but it wouldn't push the blade in. There's a stout piece of steel and a lock bar in there that is holding that blade in place. It's not going anywhere. I could take a hammer and probably hammer this into the desktop a ½ inch and pull it out, and it would be no worse for wear. But because it's going sliding in and out, it's on a track, it has to have that friction. So you can hear that, and you can maybe even see some of that wobble. Let's look at this one. I can hear it. There's less wobble. That is amazing. Because Ultratechs are kind of like the benchmark, but front and back, you can probably see that wobble. There's some here, not as much. This is a tighter fit. And I'd say, well, one's worn in. I only had this one a few weeks, so it's not like I've you know, this has been beat on and used hard, and so maybe it's got some additional play in it. They're only a few weeks apart. That is an awesome EDC knife. That thing, I can't get over how light that is. I figured with the aluminum handle and stuff, maybe it's the G10 parts, maybe there's some other stuff in there that they've done to lighten this, but this is like a featherweight. And for those that say like, oh, you know, an OTF, like a Microtech, doesn't rattle when you shake it. If you shake it like this, from here it doesn't. If you shake it from this end, which makes this end then shake faster than what your hand could do over here, just how it works. The Ultratech rattles. Not as, this is, again, the Microtech is louder than that. The Heretic up here, barely. The Vespa, yeah, that one has a little bit. S35 VM blade, 150 bucks. Carbon inlay, titanium, glass breaker, hell of a knife. But in any case, yeah, I would check this out. The Heretic knives, Manticore E. That's the mid-size. They come with one that's smaller, that's probably the equivalent of like a UTX 85, maybe even a UTX 70. It's little. I mean, it's a little delicate knife. If you got smaller hands and you need really discreet, but you want a good quality knife, go for that. The Manticore X is more along this size. It's like a 3 3/4 or almost a 4-inch blade, bigger handle. It's a big knife. I could carry that, but I've already got some big knives. I got this, I got that, I got another Vespa, I got a Vespa Cypher, copy of a Microtech Cypher. So I'm kind of in this mid-size knife kick, but that stonewash blade, that looks good. I mean, it's not Damascus, but it's almost got like that sort of weird texture to it. That'll hide scuffs and wear and tear real well. It's a hollow grind too, where this is a flat grinder, maybe because it's so high. If I got this wrong, don't crucify me in the comments, but maybe it's a saber grind. But it's basically a flat grind that starts up really, really high, which is, you know, great grind. It's going to slice like nobody's business. But I actually kind of like that hollow grind. I like the swedge there. I love that point. That recurve blade is just, that is just really stabby and very slicey, which is what you want in a knife, right? So give these guys a look. I got this from eknives.com, where I've gotten, I think I got that from there. This was from Blade HQ. These other ones for DHgate. But I've gotten a few knives now from eKnives. They're up in, I think, Tennessee. You pay like 18 bucks for overnight shipping. It comes like the next day or 2 days later, depending on if it got out that day when you ordered it. They send you a candy bar with it. I mean, their prices are great. They're as good as Blade HQ and anywhere else I've seen. They're usually within a couple bucks. Sometimes they're $5 cheaper. Sometimes they're $3 more. But their prices are awesome. So definitely, I'll put some links in the video. But anyway, give it a look. Give it a try. Wicked sharp little blade.